Fleet Bridge. CSV Ascending Light. Khaleesi 3rd Fleet Flagship. Joint readiness exercises with Terran military exchange personnel begin in exactly 12 standard hours. I have commanded this vessel for 9 years. I have never requested a biological threat briefing for an allied officer. I am requesting one now. The human standard medical file arrived on my primary console 6 minutes ago. It sits there, glowing. Specifically the skeletal imaging. It looks less like anatomy and more like a classified structural schematic for a dreadnought. I am documenting this because Command demanded a formal explanation for why I halted Joint Fleet exercises over a single medical file. You will want to hear this explanation. Exchange Officer Eleanor, human, female, Earth origin, class 1-2. Her previous occupation is listed as glassblower. She shaped heated silicate into decorative forms. This is clearly not a traditional military background. The standard medical file was forwarded per exchange protocol. Routine. My Chief Medical Officer, Lieutenant Thasari, opened it during our morning briefing. He has not spoken a single word since. She boarded the ascending light at 0700. She smiled and shook hands carefully. I now understand the necessity of that caution. In her left hand, she carried a portable thermal vessel containing a scalding dark liquid she called coffee. She held the burning metal cylinder with bare skin, a casual grip on a severe thermal hazard. She looked entirely unremarkable. Her skeleton is not. Lieutenant Thasari pulled me aside after the morning briefing concluded. Commander, I need you to look at the Terran's bone scan. I expected a minor anomaly, a deficiency requiring accommodation during the high-gravity exercises. He put the scan on the main screen, a full skeletal rendering of the human exchange officer. What am I looking at, Lieutenant? Her bones, Commander. I can see that. What is the issue? Beep. The console chirped as he tapped a specific readout. The density reading. The system flagged it as a catastrophic calibration error. I ran the diagnostic 3 times. He pointed to the data block, 1.85 grams per cubic centimeter. Average cortical bone density. Human baseline. For context, Khaleesi skeletal density averages 0.4. Almost elite combat-hardened Marines, after enduring excruciating chemical bone reinforcement treatments, reach 0.7. I stared at the number, then I pulled up our fleet's anti-personnel weapons specifications. Standard kinetic rounds are rated to penetrate targets up to 1.0 skeletal density. She is sitting at 1.85. Our weapons cannot physically penetrate her skeleton. I called her to the bridge under the guise of a diplomatic courtesy. Non-confrontational. Officer Elena, our medical team noted your bone density during the intake scan. 1.85 grams per cubic centimeter. Is this accurate? She looked at the glowing scan, tilted her head. Oh, yeah, actually that is a bit low for me. I have mild osteoporosis. Most humans are around 1.9 to 2.0. My vocal cords locked. 1.85 is below average. My bones are weaker than most humans. She said it like she was apologizing for a minor inconvenience. If a medically compromised Terran skeleton still exceeds our heavy infantry reinforcement, I 164%. I could not finish the thought. I used to blow glass, she added, laughing lightly. Probably should have taken more calcium supplements. The scan remained on screen. 1.85, below average. My executive officer was standing behind my chair. I heard him stop breathing, not literally but close. He leaned to my ear. His voice was barely a vibration. Commander, her skeleton is natural armor that exceeds our maximum combat reinforcement, and she claims this is below average. Their healthy specimens are denser. I looked back at the human. She was examining the scan with casual interest, tapping a finger against her own projected femur. That one I broke when I was 9. See? Healed perfectly. She broke a bone at age 9. The bone that would stop our kinetic rounds. And it repaired itself. The bridge remained completely quiet for 7 long seconds. The human finally noticed the tension and looked around the room. Is the scan okay? I can do it again if the machine needs recalibrating. I accessed the Earth species biological file. Bone density ranges from 1.8 to 2.1 standard units. Cortical bone is self-healing. It increases density at fracture sites. Weight-bearing physical exercise microfractures the structure to increase overall density over time. They get harder to damage the more you damage them. I pulled up our fleet weapons manifest. I ran the physical kinetic numbers against her 1.85 baseline, which meant every kinetic anti-personnel round currently loaded in the Ascending Light's armory wasn't a lethal deterrent, it was simply, we were completely defenseless. I realized with terrifying absolute clarity that we were about to conduct aggressive joint military combat exercises with a predatory species our ship's advanced kinetic weapons could not physically harm, meaning this particular human officer with her supposedly weak bones was practically an invulnerable walking tank. I contacted Fleet Admiral Tessary on the priority channel. I explained the bone density figures. A long pause filled the comms. Commander, are you telling me our entire weapons assessment is based on species with skeletal density below 1.0? Yes, Admiral. And the humans start at 1.85. The weak ones do, Admiral. Admiral Tessori issued a fleet-wide recall of all anti-personnel weapons assessments within the hour. Joint exercises were instantly postponed pending a complete structural review. At dinner, the human asked if everything was all right, having noticed the delayed exercises. Just logistics, I told her. She nodded and casually broke a hardened nutritional roll in half with one hand. I watched her fingers apply the kinetic force. The structural bones in those digits are denser than our starship's exterior hull plating. A medical scan is now filed with Fleet Intelligence as Exhibit A. The weapons review remains ongoing. The glass blower with the weak bones eats in the officer's mess every evening. No one sits within 2 seats of her. She genuinely thinks it is the coffee.